Hi guys! Okay, the computer died, so I had to go to a different place on the porch and plug it in. So let's finish our book. We only have a few pages left. Zoe Nightshade looked pretty upset. She kept glancing resentfully at Chiron like she couldn't believe he was making her do this. The other hunters didn't look too happy either. Unlike last night, they weren't laughing or joking around. They just huddled together in the dining pavilion, whispering nervously to each other as they strapped on their armor. Some of them even looked like they'd been crying. I guess Zoe had told them about her nightmare. On our team, we had Beckendorf and two other Hephaestus guys. A few from the Ares cabin, though it still seemed strange that Clarice wasn't around. The Stoll brothers and Nico from the Hermes cabin, and a few Aphrodite kids. It was weird that the Aphrodite cabin wanted to play. Usually they sat in the sidelines, chatted, and checked their reflections in the river and stuff. But when they heard that we were fighting the hunters, they were raring to go. I'd love to show them love is worthless, said Selena Beauregard, as she grumbled and strapped on her armor. I'll pulverize them. That left Talia and me. I take offense, Talia volunteered. You take defense. Oh, I hesitated because I'd been about to say the exact same thing, only reversed. Don't you think with your shield and all you'll be better at defense? Talia already had Aegeus on her arm, and even with our teammates we were going to give her a wide berth, trying not to cower before the bronze-headed Medusa. Well, I was thinking it would make better offense, Talia said. Besides, you've had more practice at defense. Talia already had... I wasn't sure if she was teasing me. I'd had some pretty bad experiences with defense at Capture the Flag. My first year, Annabeth had put me out as kind of bait. I'd almost been gored to death with spears and killed by a hellhound. Yeah, no problem, I lied. Cool. Talia turned to help some of the Aphrodite kids who were having trouble suiting up their armor without breaking their nails. Nico D'Angelo ran up to me with a big grin on his face. Percy, this is awesome! His blue feathered bronze helmet was falling into his eyes, and his breastplate was about 6 sizes too big. I wondered if there was any way I'd looked that ridiculous when I first arrived. Unfortunately, I probably had. Nico lifted his sword with effort. Do we get to kill the other team? Well, no. But the hunters are immortal, right? That's only if they don't fall in battle. Besides, it would be awesome if we just, resurrected as soon as we were killed so we could keep fighting and... Nico, this is serious. Real swords. These can hurt. He stared at me, a little disappointed, and I realized that I just sounded like my mother. Whoa, not a good sign. I patted Nico on the shoulder. Hey, it's cool. Just follow the team. Stay out of Zoe's way. We'll have a blast. Chiron's hoof thundered on the pavilion floor. Heroes, he called. You know the rules. The creek is the boundary line. Blue team, Camp Half-Blood, shall take the west woods. Hunters of Artemis, red team, shall take the east woods. I will serve as referee and battlefield medic. No intentional maiming, please. All magical items are allowed. To your positions. Sweet, Nico whispered next to me. What kind of magic items? Do I get one? I was about to break it to him that he didn't, when Talia said, Blue team, follow me. They cheered and followed. I had to run to catch up and tripped over somebody's shield, so I didn't look much like a co-captain, more like an idiot. We set our flag on the top of Zeus's fist. It's this cluster of boulders in the middle of the west woods that, if you look at it just the right way, it looks like a huge fist sticking out of the ground. If you look at it from the other side, it looks like a pile of enormous deer droppings. But Chiron wouldn't let us call it the poop pile, especially after it had been named for Zeus, who didn't have much of a sense of humor. Anyway, it was a good place to set the flag. The top boulder was 20 feet tall and really hard to climb, so the flag was clearly visible, like the rules said it had to be, and it didn't matter that the guards weren't allowed to stand within 10 yards of it. I set Nico on guard duty, and Beckendorf and the Stoll brothers, figuring he'd be safely out of the way. We'll send a decoy out to the left, Talia told the team. Selena, you lead that. Got it. Take Laurel and Jason. They're good runners. Make a wide arc around the hunters and attract as many as you can. I'll take the main raiding party around to the right and catch them by surprise. Everybody nodded. It sounded good, and Talia said it with such confidence that you couldn't help but believe it would work. Talia looked at me. Anything to add, Percy? Yeah. Keep sharp on the defense. We've got 4 guards and 2 scouts. That's not much in a big forest. I'll be roving. Yell if you need help. And don't leave your post, Talia said. Unless you see the golden opportunity, I added. Talia scowled. Just don't leave your post. Right, unless... Percy, she touched my arm and shocked me. I mean, everybody can give static shocks in the winter, but when Talia does, it hurts. I guess because her dad is the god of lightning. She's been known to fry off people's eyebrows. Sorry, Talia said, though she didn't sound particularly sorry. Now, is everybody clear? Everybody nodded. We broke into our smaller groups, and the horn sounded, and the game began. Selena's group disappeared in the woods to the left. Talia's group gave it a few seconds and then darted off toward the right. I waited for something to happen. I climbed Zeus's fist and had a good view over the forest. I remembered how the hunters had stormed out of the woods when they fought the manticore, and I was prepared for something like that. One huge charge that could overwhelm us. But nothing happened. I caught a glimpse of Selena and her 2 scouts. They ran through a clearing, followed by 5 of the hunters, leading them deep into the woods away from Talia. The plan seemed to be working. Then I spotted another clump of hunters heading to the right, bows to the ready. They must have spotted Talia. What's happening? Nico demanded, trying to climb up next to me. My mind was racing. Talia would never get through, but the hunters were divided. With that many on either flank, their center had to be wide open. If I moved fast, I looked at Beckendorf. Can you guys hold the fort? Beckendorf snorted. Of course. I'm going in. The Stoll brothers and Nico cheered as I raced toward the boundary line. I was running at top speed, and I felt great. I leaped over the creek into enemy territory. I could see their silver flag up ahead. Only one guard, who wasn't even looking in my direction. I heard fighting to my left and to my right, somewhere in the woods. I had made it. The guard turned at the last minute. It was Bianca D'Angelo. Her eyes widened as I slammed into her and she went sprawling in the snow. Sorry, I yelled, and I ripped down the silver silk flag from the tree and took off. I was 10 yards away before Bianca managed to yell for help. I thought I was home free. Zip! A silvery cord ran across my ankles and fastened to the tree next to me. A tripwire fired from a bow. Before I could even think about stopping, I went down hard, sprawling in the snow. Percy, Talia yelled off to my left. What are you doing? Before she reached me, an arrow exploded at her feet, and a cloud of yellow smoke billowing around her team. They started coughing and gagging. I could smell the gas from across the woods. It was a horrible smell of sulfur. No fair, Talia gasped. Fart arrows are unsportsmanlike. I got up and started running again. Only a few more yards to the creek, and I had the game. More arrows whizzed past my ears. A hunter came out of nowhere and slashed at me with her knife, but I parried it and kept running. I heard yelling from our side of the creek. Beckendorf and Nico were running toward me. I thought they were coming to welcome me back, but I saw they were chasing someone. Zoe Nightshade running toward me like a cheetah, dodging campers with no trouble, and she had our flag in her hands. No, I yelled and poured on the speed. I was 2 feet from the water when Zoe bolted across her own side, slamming into me for good measure. The hunters cheered as both sides converged on the creek. Chiron appeared out of the woods, looking grim. He had the Stoll brothers on his back. It looked as if both of them had taken some nasty whacks to the head. Connor Stoll had 2 arrows sticking out of his helmet like antennae. The hunters win, Chiron announced without pleasure. Then he muttered, for the 56th time in a row. Perseus Jackson, Talia yelled, storming toward me. She smelled like rotten eggs, and she was so mad that blue sparks flickered from her armor. Everybody cringed and backed up because of Aegeus. It took all my willpower not to cower. What in the name of the gods were you thinking? She bellowed. I balled my fist. I had enough bad stuff happen to me for one day. I didn't need this. I got the flag, Talia. I shook it in her face. I saw a chance and I took it. I was at their base, Talia yelled. But the flag was gone. If you hadn't butted in, we would have won. You had too many on you. Oh, so it's my fault? I didn't say that. Ah! Talia pushed me, and the shock went through my body and blew me backward 10 feet into the water. Some of the campers gasped. A couple of the hunters stifled laughs. Sorry, Talia said, turning pale. I didn't mean to. Anger roared in my ears. A wave erupted from the creek, blasting into Talia's face and dousing her from head to toe. I stood up. Yeah, I growled. I didn't mean to either. Talia was breathing heavily. Enough, Chiron ordered. But Talia held out her spear. Do you want some, seaweed brain? Somehow, it was okay when Annabeth called me that. At least I'd gotten used to it, but hearing it from Talia was not cool. Bring it on, pinecone face. I raised Riptide. Before I could even defend myself, Talia yelled and a blast of lightning came down from the sky. Hit her spear like a lightning rod and slammed into my chest. I sat down hard. There was a burning smell. I had a feeling my clothes were on fire. Talia, Chiron said, that is enough. I got to my feet and willed the entire creek to rise. It swirled up, hundreds of gallons of water in a massive icy funnel cloud. Percy, Chiron pleaded. I was about to hurl at Talia when I saw something in the woods. I lost my anger and my concentration all at once. The water splashed back into the creek bed, and Talia was so surprised that she turned to see what I was looking at. Someone, or something, was approaching. It was shrouded in a murky green mist, but as it got closer, the campers and the hunters gasped. This is impossible, Chiron said. I've never heard him so nervous. She has never left the attic. Never. And yet, the withered mummy that held the oracle shuffled forward until she stood in the center of the group. Mist curled around our feet, turning the snow a sickly shade of green. None of us dared to move. Then her voice hissed inside my head. Apparently everyone could hear it because several clutched their hands over their ears. I am the spirit of Delphi, the voice said, speaker of the prophecies of Phoebus Apollo, slayer of the mighty Python. The oracle regarded me with its cold, dead eyes. Then she turned unmistakably toward Zoe Nightshade. Approach, seeker, and ask. Zoe swallowed. But what must I do to help my goddess? The oracle's mouth opened and green mist poured out. I saw the vague image of a mountain and a girl standing in a barren peak. It was Artemis. But she was wrapped in chains, fettered to the rocks. She was kneeling with her hands raised as if to fend off an attacker, and it looked like she was in pain. The oracle spoke. 5 shall go west to the goddess in chains. 1 shall be lost in the land without rain. The bane of Olympus shows the trail. Campers and hunters combined prevail. The Titans cursed must one withstand. 1 shall perish by a parent's hand. That's kind of scary. Then, as we were watching, the mist swirled and retreated into the great green serpent into the mummy's mouth. The oracle sat down on a rock and became as still as she'd been in the attic, as if she might sit by the creek for 100 years. Oh, that's it. Okay, chapter 7 is called Everybody Hates Me But the Horse. So, all right. Tomorrow. What is tomorrow? Today was take a picture with your favorite book. And tomorrow would be nice if it would tell me. Tomorrow is Crazy Sock Day, so be sure and wear your crazy socks tomorrow. And don't forget to send me pictures of you wearing your pajamas and pictures of you with your favorite book, and we will put them all in our video. So, all right, guys, tomorrow's supposed to be beautiful, so go outside and play. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye!